Going to when a client purchases or sells a property, is there something on the tax return, like aside from all the deductions, that they are supposed to do in the eyes of the government when you buy or sell a property?
Yeah, of course. Government always wants to know what you've done to a house.
Yes.
So it depends whether it's a principal residence or if it's a investment property. But investment properties do trigger a capital gain upon sale.
Yeah.
Not always a capital gain, but majority of the times. But if you have an investment property and you're flipping it, you're going to report a capital gain. So you have to show your proceeds of disposition, your cost base based on what you purchased it for, any additions you had in the house, and any buying and selling cost, disposition costs like legal fees, realtor fees, and things like that. That needs to get reported on your tax return so they can calculate what the capital gain will be.
Interesting. Okay. And so if it is a principal residence, we don't have to declare that one, or we do?
We do, and I know you know that answer, but so we definitely do, and I think that's another thing. It's more just disclosure to the CRA, and even though they don't tax you for any of that property sale because it is tax free. By not reporting it and not doing the disclosure, you can pay penalties for not disclosing it.
Yes.
So that's why it's just important to get it done correctly rather than having to worry about doing a tax return yourself. So there is a form called 2091, which is basically disposing your property, and it kind of tells you basically disclose, again, the proceeds of disposition and then how long you have that property for so that you're using it for principal residence.
I feel like the purpose for that is to kind of create a timeline of ownership for a principal residence so that they can catch like the cottage properties and whatever the overage is. So if I have my principal residence from say 2000 to 2010, but I bought a cottage in 2005, they know that there's an overlap from 2005 to 2010 that has a capital gain applied somewhere. Right?
That's exactly right. And I think back in the day, this form never used to exist, so people would kind of avoid paying capital gains and not reporting any of their income whatsoever.
Right.
So CRA wanted them to report it and say that if you're talking about this specific property and you own it for 10 years, how many years of these 10 do you consider to be a principal residence?
Right.
Because whenever you own two properties, you can designate either one of them as principal residence and switch from one to another multiple times if you wanted to. But every time you switch a property from a disposition of one to the next as a principal residence, you do need to fill out that form. So they know which years is that property being designated as.
And so, which property can they tax you on?
Exactly, or a partial tax. You might have a property that you lived in for 8 years as your principal residence. And you bought another property, you moved on to another principal residence, but you still kept this one and started renting it out. Right? Or you might have multiple properties that you were renting out while you lived in some of them. So the capital gains will also get kind of prorated based on the amount of years you designate that property as a principal residence.
And that's a good point too. If you're living in a home personally, and then you have like say some people living in the basement, only 50% of that house will also be applicable for capital gains. Yes.